On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
I've gone to my, last couple weeks has been all kinds of my football watching there is, and we got Jenny, Zach, and Matt in here.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I got to tell you that I've gone to my Texas OU game last weekend, which ended up not good for me, but before that, when Green Bay smacked the Dallas Cowgirls around like they were nothing.
Wow.
Made me very happy. I was
He's
sitting
been
in the
on a
stand.
high, everybody. A big high.
I was sitting in the stands with my Packer jersey on, and we just kind of owned them the entire game.
Were
so
you there?
Just,
You went to the game?
Yeah.
And he's still living off of it weeks later.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing this is a soundproof studio, Heath. You can't say that kind of thing around here.
Oh, yeah.
You can't let anybody hear you.
I have no fear.
What
No,
was the
you don't.
reception in the stadium for you? Or against you, I guess I would rather say.
Not great. Didn't have many friends there.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
alone.
It's kind of hard to be mad. I mean, it's kind of
Solo.
hard to do. I mean, they weren't any good. They're not
It's
any
lonely
good.
at the top.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Aaron Rodgers owns them at that stadium. And
Yeah.
It's just how it is. But I got to tell you, so I've been to both that with Texas OU, Texas lost, and Dallas and Green Bay. I don't think I care about going to stadiums to watch sports events anymore.
Oh,
What?
you're officially old enough where you're over the stadium experience.
I really enjoy watching the game, and I can do it better from my home.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
Like sitting at home watching TV. I don't miss half of a quarter trying to go to the bathroom and wait in line for an hour.
True that.
So you actually get to watch the game. I really just think I enjoy it more, not barreling in with people. You go in and out. You always want to leave early so you can try to get out of there.
I think
It's
you need
just-
to be in the suite
Yeah.
with Ellen
Yeah.
and George W.
That's right.
But then you're up there, you're going to be watching. Now, the Ellen and George G-Dub was. Wouldn't that have been a great place to sit in the middle of them two?
Oh, fly on
Oh,
the
What would
wall.
you do?
Goals for
Yeah.
fly on the wall.
If anybody didn't know, they had a deal because at that game, Ellen and George Bush were together, and Ellen had an epic rant of the day after about being kind to people and how
What was the whole thing?
because everybody
It
was
was a
giving her
whole
heck
thing.
about them two sitting next to. I would have given anything to sit between them two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how funny that conversation was?
No, because she is so funny. I mean, they're both have got some character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. G-Dub had lots of character to him as a president, wouldn't you say?
I would say yes, character, yes.
And I love
Definitely
Ellen.
character.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely two sides of a societal spectrum there sitting together, right?
But
So well, that's funny because that's good to know. I'm glad you told everybody else and me because that's on I keep a running list of gift ideas for Heath, and I highly recommend this, you guys, for your spouse or for your girlfriend, boyfriend, friends. I keep a running list for my mom because she never wants anything, and the one time, every 3 years she says it, and then I'm like, ooh, I got to get it. But I keep a running list, and that's one of my things that I hadn't done yet was a big live game tickets, and that's on the list. So now I know.
Now you know.
Scratch that one off.
Well, there's those
Buy him a
things.
bigger TV.
That's right.
No, look, there are those things that are those specialty, like going to Lambeau Field. Was epic. I would still, I would still like to probably do another big game at a Lambeau Field because it's just epic. There's those stadiums.
Noted.
One of these days, like a
right.
Wrigley Field or a. Kind of maybe
Right.
I may go to a Super Bowl one day, type stuff. But
Sure.
it's not something I want to do every day.
For me, it's everything around it. If I could
Yeah.
just be helicoptered into my seat
Yes.
in the stadium and then just be lifted out,
Bingo.
that would be amazing. But I don't want to deal with traffic. I don't want to pay for parking. I don't want to do. I don't want to have to wait in lines.
Now on the same page.
Right. The few times I've
Right.
been able to sidestep that, whether, I used to work near Victory Park, so I had parking down there. So it was like, okay, I can park for free at least, and then go in and get around something. If I felt like I was getting away with something, I would enjoy it. But otherwise, if I had to go through the whole thing, no, thank you. I'm not down for it anymore.
I get it.
We're a tough
We-
bunch here on Second
We are
Shot.
totally off the rails. We're 5 minutes into this.
true.
This is like when people spend 5 minutes on an ad and you're like, get to the point.
This is good content. I don't care.
At least we weren't promoting anybody. We're just talking about our own stuff, but we do have
true.
some good news headlines.
Yes, our first headline this week. Mental conditioning is the driving force behind Russell Wilson's success. I looked this up before we started. Russell Wilson is quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. So this article is about Wilson's mental coach, a man named, and I'm going to butcher this, Trevor Mowawad. He's part of Wilson's performance team, the people who help Russell Wilson kind of get ready for a game, which include personal trainer, massage therapist, yoga instructor, the normal things an athlete would have. But Russell Wilson has something everybody doesn't. Trevor Mowawad, who is a mental coach. His whole thing is behavior and visual exercises. He's an expert in brain training, and Russell Wilson is his most well-known pupil. Their weekly sessions usually last about 90 minutes and take place either in person or over the phone. They talk about things like neutral thinking, goal setting, language, and the aggregate of marginal gains. Not a whole lot of athletes are doing this, but Russell Wilson is. And Russell Wilson apparently throws some sick passes. Trevor Mowawad said, I've lived in this world of mental conditioning for 18 years, and superhero gifts are not the defining factor. Elite behavior is the deciding factor. And you take people with average talent and great behavior, they're going to make it. So something different. An athlete who has all of these strength gifts, right? All of these gifts that are physical, but instead he's thinking about his mind.
It's one of those that's perfect reminders, so that if you're listening to this and subscribe, make sure, I hope you listen to the Second Shot sit down that was released earlier this week.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he
you.
actually talked about being the life coach, and there's a lot of these type things out there, right? And the mental aspect of it is what I think is so key, because whenever they see these big busts that were like the most talented people in the world drafted, all that busted, it's like, how do they do it? It's all because of mental. Their mental didn't handle it. And you think about it, we practice and work like if we're doing anything, working out, exercising our muscles, keeping routine, but like the most important muscle is our brain. And really, nobody really has regular routines of a coach to coach them with that thought, I mean, and I think that's huge.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I hear this, and when I thought of a second shot, my perspective went to the wavelength of we could use this same technique even when we're not in the NFL. If we are working on our accounting job, and how much better would you be? How much sharper would you be if you actually took yourself and your job that seriously? Right?
Oh, that's so true. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we don't, we think, oh, you got to be Russell Wilson to do that. No, you should do that. You should have something mentally testing you no matter what it is.
And have you ever noticed too, like when you first start out at a job, you are showing up.
Gung-ho.
You slept the night before. You're not going out. You're not saying, oh yeah, let's go out then show up at work. It's like, no, I have this killer new job that I worked so hard for. I am absolutely not going out. And you don't mind because you're so excited about this new job. And say, you pack your lunch, or you get, you've got everything organized. You set your clothes out. You're ready to rock it. And then a year goes by. Oh, sure, I'll show up tired. I'll show up hungry. I'll show up,
not
not
doing
in my
anything
best
extra.
mental state. And then all of a sudden you're not performing and not getting the good reviews, and this is no good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that if you don't have to be Russell Wilson to take your job so seriously, and to really like lean into it with that mental component that he has.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you that I got to think about it like this too, is that a lot of times it's okay to understand if you're in that. Like if you're bored, if you're listening right now and you're kind of in that, it's like, oh crap, we all go through it. Myself included, with anybody.
For sure.
You have your seasons. The most important part is making sure you have the awareness enough to know when it is and do some change ups. And sometimes, you know what? It's okay to want to sit around in your getting cooked in your squat a little bit, as Zig used to say. There's times that you need to have that, but you
haven't brought up Zig in a while.
I know. You got to have that awareness,
Cooked in your
though,
squat.
and get out of it. And make the change. And the changes are the stuff that where your calendar of blocking out in order to have those mental refreshes. There's times you need to unplug from everything to have the thinking. That's why great ideas come in the shower. You have nothing else to do.
It's such a shame that mental kind of mental health in general is just so pushed to the side for, I think, physical health, right?
Yeah,
We're a
yeah.
society that judges everything's on looks. I get it. Like, that's our thing.
Yeah.
But when you look at the back of a box of, like, you know, cookies at the grocery store, you see calories and you see carbs and you see starches, but there's nothing in, like, how is this going to affect your brain?
Yeah, that's
How
true.
is eating this going to mess with the dopamine and the serotonin running around in your head? And, like, that matters. And whenever people just kind of, I don't know, eat the same thing and don't get good sleep and don't really take care of themselves in that way, it affects you. Whether you like it or not, you may not see it, you may not feel it immediately, but it matters. It's a problem I've been having with my lovely roommate lately. I'm like, you gotta eat something green every once in a while because you need to be, you know, a little sharper sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, you're speaking my language. It's true. What we put into our bodies and our brains does impact how we feel.
Right.
And I think what happens is we get in this sort of like sedated state where we're just used to it. We're used to being so exhausted.
Your brain
and
gets used to it, yeah.
So mentally drained, so not sharp.
Right.
That's just kind of like the new norm.
Yeah.
And so if you can take that time to
Refresh.
refresh,
Yeah.
kind of like do a reset, and don't wait until 2020 to do that. By the way,
Right.
Yeah,
Just like do it today.
Starting off cycle is almost even better because it's not the cliche thing. But I'll tell you this: you don't have to be Russell Wilson rich and have this expensive coach to help you with your stuff. Let me tell you what mental coaching really can be down to is it's what you're feeding in your ears. You know, what are you listening to? You know, I believe that listening to podcasts like this are positive motivation for you and reminding of things to work on. I think that anytime you have an area of your life that you're feeling like you really need to focus on, because you're going to have parts of your life that you're always going to be better at and some you've let go because you focused on the others, okay? So you need to go and get that book that focuses on that and be reading that and having those things all the time. Every time I get in the funk like I've been in lately too, I haven't been reading as much as I used to. So it's time to go pick them back up, pick up those good habits again, and that can be your mental coach. You don't have to have Russell Wilson money to make that happen. We'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He makes up words, she translates them. Heath and Jenny host more of Second Shot, coming up on RNCN.
Okay, you guys, we have been working on this partnership for a while. This is a company that we've used as a couple, we've used individually, and now they are on board as a sponsor. So we're giving a big shout out to myllc.com. You used them back in the day, right?
I've been
like
using
when
them-
you first got started in business.
I've been using them for 12, 13 years. It was the easiest thing in the world. If anybody's thought about setting up a company, paying big lawyer fees, they think it's a big, mountain of a task to take on. But with myllc.com, if you go on their website and you call them, if you're doing an S Corp, a C Corp, or anything, they're going to walk you through it. They won't make you feel dumb. And they're going to handle every process every year from now on from you, the stuff with the state and all of those things. So if you have any rental property outside of your own home, you need to have it in an LLC or an S Corp or something in order to protect you legally if you're doing side hustles. You need to invoice them from the legal entity because it can protect you legally. myllc.com/second shot. There's a coupon code 99 myllc, right?
Well, yeah, all you have to do is go to myllc.com/second shot and it'll give you $99 off, which is super generous. And this is kind of like a limited thing. So if you were thinking about it, again, you kind of started your side business, you're thinking about getting it going, or you've got a big business. I mean, they work with all sizes. It's $99 off. The other thing, if you're already on the site, you can use the coupon code 99myllc. Again, it's 99myllc from myllc.com. This is the company we've used for all of our different entities and projects. They've been so great to work with, and we're just excited to have them on as partners.
myllc.com/second shot. Go now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
I was just laughing pretty hard because I was thinking about Brighton and this morning when she was running through the house and she's like, "Daddy, where are we? Where are we?
Where are we?" Which
Is
means
this a
where
new
are
thing?
you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
speaking
and we're playing hiding and seeking now and fun.
She had a vibrant morning. We also, I don't know if Brighton's in the best school education wise,
Oh, I think it's great.
I don't know, if there's been robust testing done. But I will tell you this. I walked in this morning and dropped her off, and they were selling tamales for a fundraiser. Oh. And that's all I need to know.
That's pretty
This is a good school.
Some homegrown, grassroots, down-to-earth education.
Yes. I'm like, this is what I'm here for. And yes, we will buy some tamales from you and leave Brighton here for as long as you'll take her.
How many dozen did you get?
Well, so apparently you have to do it online, and also other people can buy them from you. And if we buy the most / sell the most, we get front row at the Christmas concert.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. Are we sliding a tamale sponsorship on a second shot? Maybe that's what we should be doing. Yeah, can we
like a tamale
crowdfund
pyramid
this?
scheme.
Yeah.
Who wants some tamales?
That's a very
That's dirty. That's dirty.
That's a very good idea. Sorry to our actual paying sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, gosh.
I've got special interest in the tamale industry.
I love tamales. Our second headline this week, why more than half of Americans hide purchases from friends and family. Oh, no. In today's world of online shopping, have you ever made a purchase you regret? Don't worry, you're not alone. Seeing as the average person spends over $200 a month on purchases they come to regret. A study of 2,000 Americans examining their spending habits and behaviors found that the average person spends a little over $200 on unnecessary purchases a month. That's over $2,500 a year. There's a bunch of numbers here. 76% are guilty of making impulse purchases. That's what they said. 3 out of 4. 3 and 4 also said they admitted to making financial decisions they wish they could take back. Buyer's remorse, which is always awful. In spite of thinking they've got their finances under control, 60% have hidden the cost of items they purchased from others, and just over 50% revealed they've hidden purchases entirely from family and friends out of pure embarrassment. Why do you buy something and hide it from somebody? What is that about?
Well, here's the thing. Today, this is not a new thing. I remember my mom as a kid, leaving she went shopping in the trunk till my dad went to bed and bring the
There you
the
go.
stuff
Department
in.
store, yeah.
Oh,
Nowadays-
this whole thing?
Yeah.
Ripping tags off.
Yeah. I mean, that's nothing new. The thing about today is that Jenny can't hide any of it because the Ring doorbell goes off all day long with new Amazon package, new Amazon package, new
Yeah.
Amazon package.
Ring has been
5 of them a day.
A blessing and a curse, because when I was working the morning show, I would get home earlier, so I could really do the Amazon situation, have them show up. I get home from work, I unbox, I say, oh, this old thing, and then we move on with our lives.
Nobody's the wiser.
Yeah, but now he sees it on the Ring. But also, so my second shot on this was who cares?
Yeah.
What's your shame? It's your money, right? You're
Yeah.
the one responsible for those purchases, right? So why are we pretending I'll hide that purchase? I think it's a little weird. Everybody talks about authenticity. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, have authenticity in your interests and your things that you enjoy.
Why do you think people do that? Why is it because is there a shame these days with doing well and with having
Yes.
that?
Totally. People like to play the sort of, oh, poor me kind of card. They do one of two things. They're either far more extravagant and showy than their actual life is, or they're kind of like, oh no, we're just, just this or just that. And I think it's silly on both ends. It's just such a relief to just be you.
Yeah.
Be open about your struggles. I mean, I've said to friends before that, some big ticket items would, if people are in Dallas, they know Cattle Barons.
Oh, yeah, Cattle Barons
I
Ball.
was like, hey, instead of making up an excuse and saying, we're going to be in St. Kitts that weekend. No, we're building a house. We're getting a podcast going. We've got these business going.
Busy.
This and
not
these
where
are
we wanna spend
tickets
the money.
that are thousands of dollars. And while we do love to contribute to that charity, we would rather do that specifically as opposed to getting tickets to this event. And I don't have any shame in doing that. That's not my priority right now. So anyway, I'm kind of
But
on
do you
a
think you've always been
tangent.
that way? Do you-
No.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you know me.
No,
This is
I
new
know.
for
That's
me.
why I threw it out there. So what do you think is changing
This is
with
why
that?
I can speak to this, because I've definitely money, there's just so much rooted in, how we are as a child. And I've been open about us having this, we had a roof over our heads and we had food, but I mean, we didn't have a lot. And I think that sometimes that will shape a little bit of your beliefs. And then you almost feel bad in a way when you do then earn money. But yet you had wanted it so badly before. You had wanted so badly to be able to just not worry if the car broke down and not, break into tears when a tire went flat, and you thought, well, I don't know, I may just end up here. This
Yeah.
may be it for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford the new tire, things like that. So I just think that money things are just sort of shaped throughout your life. For me, the change probably came when I don't know. I was just exhausted. It's exhausting to try to pretend to be something that you're not, or to try to feign interest
And
in
I think
something.
a lot of times it's protecting. You're thinking you're protecting yourself, don't you think?
Of course. It's never done with, I think it's rarely done with ill intention. You're just kind of like, look, I don't want people to judge me. I'm trying to get through my life.
Yeah.
So people hide their purchases. And, instead of just saying, yeah, so I collect Beanie Babies.
But then
what of it?
You're judging yourself as a person so much. When people are when people are sitting in a spot that you're like maybe overselling to the world, you're keeping up with the Joneses, or you're doing the under whatever. Like, you don't understand how much you're halting yourself from actually getting to the Joneses because of the mental wear down of constantly having to keep up that facade.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Like doing. If you're trying to keep up with that, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul over and over, and like it's exhausting. Where if you just went back and owned who you were, people will have a lot more empathy. People will probably have a lot more support. And I get tired of people that really try to put that out there and be that. And then, like you said, it's like hiding the people who are doing well, then hiding stuff. It's like, no, be you. Own it. Like, people need to see that that's all
either
okay,
way.
too. Yeah.
Well, and I also think there's a little bit of a. I think when you're especially coming up and trying to become more successful and trying to save money or whatever, I think there's a feeling that you have to suffer on the way up.
Yeah.
And so people will hide what they're really into. They'll feel like, well, there's always a better way I could be spending my money.
Oh, yeah.
There's always
So true,
something
Matt.
else I could be doing. Like, I don't need to go to the nail salon. I need to save that $50 and put it in savings or something like that. And I feel like you live a much better life whenever you say, all right, for a little bit, I'm going to spend money on myself, and then for a little bit, I'm going to put some money away. And Jenny, let me tell you need to be sending that stuff to Amazon shipping centers, like at a gas station. They put it in a locker.
Pro tip.
yeah, Amazon
It won't
locker.
show up on the Ring doorbell. There you go. You can get around it.
Matt, you gotta kill that. Stop it.
But now that I don't care,
Yeah.
now that
Well, there you go,
I've
yeah.
released myself from the fact that in the middle of the day, or maybe at 2 a.m. when I wake up, I might think Brighton needs some stickers for that upcoming flight.
Yeah.
Dring. I don't care. It is.
right.
It's exhausting to try to pretend. And to Matt's point, I think that you will enjoy the things that you indulge in more if you're like, hey, this is me. I'm splurging and getting my nails done, and I will continue
Right.
with my investment or my saving for my business or whatever down the road. And
And it's
also,
none
if
of your
people
business.
are judging it, if people are kind of like looking at you like, oh, well, she said she was, saving up for that down payment on her house, and there she is getting her nails done. Well, that's on them.
None of your business.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
It's none of their business.
Yep.
None ya. That's what I tell you.
none.
And I think when you
He also says that when I just ask him random questions around the
Right.
house, so that's fun.
None, yeah.
when you get to a point where you really start not caring as much about what others are and take care of your own personally, like in your own household or how it is, then the anxiety and so many, like, you will look at, if you take a hard look at yourself and where you're at, there's a lot of anxieties and things you have that are literally made up in your head of thinking about what other people think here, what other people think there. It's truly the weight, the burden on your shoulders is you putting it on yourself because you care about that. Like I'm not going to put, I'll never, be sorry for the fact that I really wanted to make money. Okay. I have screwed up and pissed away more money on trying things and screwing up and learning. It's basically been my education. That's the way I've looked at it. And I'm not going to act like it doesn't get me down at times that I do something stupid and lose it. It does. But at the end of the day, the money and material things don't make me. They don't make who we are. I can make them again. I will go make them again. We'll try things. We'll lose it. We will go after it again because I'm not worried about what somebody else may think and judge. And material things don't make us. Like Jenny and I can easily bet it all on something, lose it all, and like pack up and be living in, very, very, very little means to make it up because material things don't define who we are.
Yeah.
And if we did, we're going to be okay with that. So I'm going to challenge you that if you're looking at, if you want to take a long, hard look at maybe some anxieties or some things that are weighing you down, are you making them up in your head because you're worried about what other people think? Or does it really actually bother you and it's something you need to address? Because a lot of times the burdens and things of life are just made up in our head of what we are worried about what others think. We'll be back in a minute on the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Heath and Jenny still to come.
Okay, we wanted to take a quick minute to tell you guys about a company called Energy Ogre. So Heath and I have been using this company for years to save money on our electricity. We've told you guys about it for months and months and months too. So basically what they do is they shop around your electricity and then they find the lowest option and then they manage it. So you know how if you notice your rates are going up, you might call around. But who really does that? So they do that for you. The deal is that it costs $10 a month, and if they can't save you anything, then you get the $10 back. So for us, what we noticed is it cut our bill at least in half. So we're talking, we were upwards of $200, maybe a little more than $200 a month. Now we're down to $100. Yes, even in the blazing summers here in the Dallas area of Texas. So it's energyogre.com. So here's Ogre. It's OGRE. So ENERGYOGRE.com. And they actually give us a deal for Second Shot listeners. So if you would like to use it, the discount code is Second Shot. So you can try it for free and see how it works. Again, it's really not a risk because if you get on there and they can't save you any money, then they don't charge you anything and you'll get to try it out for free with the code Second Shot.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
It's frustrating because you all are listening and not leaving reviews. When we have this many people listening and still stuck at that amount of reviews, that means you are like literally going, oh, I hear you, Heath, but no, I'm not going to do it. Come on,
Maybe
people,
they like,
listen to me.
They like hate listen.
Yeah.
Like they don't actually like it, but they're still listening all the time.
Imagine hate listening through this many episodes of Second Shot. Imagine being that person.
Hey, I love you for it if you're doing that. Keep those numbers coming.
A play is a play. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Rating and
Go.
reviews are important.
Leave a rating and review.
Yeah, come on,
now,
gang.
run, hurry. Now, the other thing, I want to explain, like, our www.myllc.com/second shot. Understand what this can do. There's a lot of people that really don't think about, if you have a rental property, let's just say you have an extra little rental property, and you don't have it in some sort of a corporation, you're leaving yourself open to all kinds of legal disputes. And I understand, because before, if you talk to lawyers and stuff, and $1,500+ to set up corporations, I get that. My LLC does not cost that much, and right now you get $99 off. And I want to say it's roughly around $500 plus $99 off, and you have your corporation set you up legally. So if you're doing side jobs, you're doing anything, you need to set up your corporations. They do LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, everything.
And it's like a one and done thing too.
Absolutely.
It's not like
They handle all the ongoing.
set it up and then keep doing stuff. The other thing I would advise too, if you're kind of like on the fence thinking, I'm not sure if I really need this, call them.
Yeah,
it's
they'll
a
walk you
super
through it.
cool. Like it feels like it's not a small business, but it feels like a small community-oriented business. Because I think people think, "Gosh, doing this online, I don't know." But you could email, chat with them. I mean, they're just fantastic.
The people I've sent to over the years that I've sent to use it, they're like called and said, "Man, that was easy." They just walked me through all. I told them what I wanted, and they made all the check marks for me. So, myllc.com/second shot, and you'll get $99 off. Okay, now. Since we don't have any ratings and reviews because everybody has
we
left
do
us
have
high
an
and dry.
email though. We do have an email, and I'm a little bit hurt because Second Shot sit downs just came out, and I was like, okay,
on, people.
waiting for something.
Oh, man.
Go leave another review on that.
But it's okay because my confidence is not defined by ratings and reviews like Heath says, but it kind of is actually.
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep.
We got an email from Monica, who I love her virtually through, our online social media interactions and such. So she sent us a TED Talk video clip. She says, I saw it. I loved it. She's going back to watch the full video, but she couldn't wait to share it with her favorite podcasters. The question it brings to mind is that she thought it might be fun and thought-provoking for the show to ask this question. Mm-hmm. Are you coachable? Because that's sort of what like I said, kind of like her, I don't want to play this whole TED Talk for you guys, but the question is, are you coachable? And it made me think about, when you get a new colleague and they can have so much education and training and have this really strong resume, but if they're not there to learn your systems, isn't it tough tough?
Yeah.
Isn't it a burden? And isn't it great when you meet somebody, even if they don't have a strong background, but they're ready to learn your systems?
Yeah.
It really makes them desirable.
It's so
Do you
funny.
guys think you're coachable in that way?
It's so funny you say this because not that long ago I was sitting down.
Is this
with
the question
guy.
of the week?
It's not the question of the week. It was just something, although we could
Be a
have
great
it.
question of
Okay,
the week.
well, maybe
I
we
think
should do that.
Hold on a second. Yeah, we might have stumbled into a question.
Oh, okay, good. Then we'll save the other question
Yeah.
for next time.
So I think when you talk about being coachable, right, the first thing you got to have is an open mind. I was sitting down with a guy not that long ago getting coffee and talking about I've been doing a little bit more freelancing lately, and I was
Yeah.
just talking to him about he's been doing it a while. How'd you get into it? Tell me about, give me some tips, and maybe catch a little bit of that success fairy dust he seems to have, and figure it out for myself. And he's been doing business coaching, and he said, well, tell you what, I need to get hours for training or something. You buy me a cup of coffee once every 2 weeks, and I'll coach you for an hour, and that's what we'll do. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not really sure what you'd coach me on exactly. And he was like, everything. We're sitting here talking about this, you don't. And I was like, yeah, but I don't. And I had to really stop and think about it. Like, is this something I need, and how could I use it? And I didn't even really understand the function of it. And now I'm looking back and thinking, you know what? That may not be a bad idea. Thinking I may
That
not
might
need
be
it
you
might be
being
exactly
not coachable.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's like, I don't need a coach. I'm awesome.
Maybe I do. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a great question. Are you coachable? Currently, I should be.
So he wanted to do a trade with you?
Something like. I mean, he just wanted to get together, and I just wanted to hang out with him the once, and then he said, let's. I think he kind of took a shine to me. I think I'm kind of a charming guy.
I'm not.
You're great.
Yeah.
You're fantastic.
I think he's a super nice guy too. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm not the most coachable person in the world. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
Now, it's hard for me because but it's easy if I have a respect for you. It's really easy if I respect you and what your abilities are and what you do. That's easy. But if I don't, it's very difficult for me to listen in that area.
Did you just burp?
I don't think so, do I? It's a little burp.
Little burp. That's
No.
what
I
Brenton
don't-
says.
did you-
Little burp.
I was talking. How did I
Just
burp?
deflate that answer.
I was looking at you and I was like, did I hear
Could have been anybody.
That is amazing. I'm literally looking at you talking, and you're like, "Did you burp?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I just magically burped while I was talking."
It was little. It was very small.
Every time Brighton burps, she goes, "Oh, hello, burp."
And then she says, "Moose me."
Yeah, excuse me.
Moose me. So,
I have to
make a conscious effort.
Well, I think that, and this is not an excuse because I should be better at it, but there's so many these fake people out there that have never really done anything, that are business coaches or that are coaches or that are all of a sudden all these things, that I have a high level of skepticism on dang near everybody. And that's not a good thing. This is not a good thing. I'm not acting like this is a positive here, okay? I'm just being raw and real.
Right.
That's where I go to. And I see a lot of people that are these teachers and all these things that have never really done much. And I struggle with that.
They're business coaches, but they had
Yes.
strong businesses themselves.
Yes.
I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think there's some truth to that.
And so if I respect you, I mean, I recently had a situation that I was going to do some stuff, and then I knew better, and I'd called one of my friends that I do respect in a lot of ways, and he was able to talk me off of a ledge and not do that and refrain and pull some stuff out, and he is one that I do respect highly enough that I will take that advice on, so, but I when I respect you, I'm the best soldier for you, I believe.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot for me to get there.
Yeah. So on this one, I totally relate to what you're saying about people who haven't been in your shoes. Just in news, they always would have consultants. This is pre-recession. After the recession, I don't know what the consultants are doing now, but pre-recessions, TV stations would spend a lot of money on consultants, and they would sit down with you. And so being a journalist, I would always research them ahead of time. And what I would find out is that they never made it to the level in their career that I was at that point in terms of on-camera work, right? So I'm like, okay, you and I both worked, you worked in Billings, Montana. I worked in Kennewick, Washington. You worked in Tyler, Texas. These are small markets, but I was able to continue going on and moving. You stopped and became a consultant. So it made me wonder, well, what leverage do you have to give me this advice? However, since this is, your on-camera performance is a little bit like art, it's sort of preference, so that I would still get something out of the sessions, I would think, okay, they may not have done it themselves, but they still know what they like.
Yeah.
They're still just like a viewer and they know what they like. So I think those are two different areas. In terms of being coachable, I'm super people pleasery in that I lean to the end of wanting people to like me. I err on the side of, I want your approval. That's just, and I've got to I still haven't figured out my exact Enneagram, but I'm sure that there's something about that speaks to my Enneagram. So I do well when a boss says, here's a plan, will you execute it? Because I know at the end of the execution will be some praise. And so maybe that's like a very juvenile way of doing it and being coached, but that is something that at least I've got that, Do you think that that's true or?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I agree with you. No,
Yeah,
I
it's not
think,
like the coolest quality. It just is.
Yeah.
It just is me.
I think this is a big area for me that I have to focus more on and be more open to. Now, I'll be the first to admit that this is definitely, when people give me a feedback or idea, my first natural reaction is to fight it. And I think it's because I want somebody to sell me on why so much, right? Like I just want to be sold on it. Like and so I'm going to push you back, and but sell me on it. And if you can't sell me on it, then I don't believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
That's why I read all these books and I tell Heath about the stats behind them. See, this is why.
I think I'm probably in a middle ground. I'm certainly teachable, and there have been moments in my professional career where someone has come to me and, usually I don't know, a news director or a boss or something like that has come to me and said, hey, you're not doing this in the style that we want you to do it. Try this style, and I'll learn it and figure it out. But I think a lot of this stuff comes down to I don't know what I don't know, and I haven't really had this experience with like a good either business coach or just life coach or something like that. And maybe that should be a goal of mine for the next year, is to find somebody and work with them and just see if that's something that could help me. I mean, I'm sure it could in some ways. I just don't know how much and how quickly. So yeah, I'd like to find out, but I think at this point, there's definitely, I have a lot of that in me as well, Heath, where I'm like, man, I've heard a lot of snake oil over the years.
Yep. Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people give interviews, and I'm like, man, I'm not really buying what you're selling. So sitting down with somebody who I can pay attention to and who I feel like has my best interests in mind and is not just trying to make a buck off me, then I think it would probably be a positive experience. I just haven't done it.
So ask yourself, are you coachable this week? Go to the Second Shot Facebook group and give us an answer. Are you coachable? Can you make that happen? And myllc.com/second shot will save you some money when you set up your corporation, no matter what side gigs or anything like that you're doing. Leave us a rating review today.
Today. I also just had a girlfriend sign up for Energy Ogre. Finally.
Ooh.
Her bill was like $600 a month, you guys. I cannot wait. This is going to be the biggest case study. I'll let you know how much she ends up saving on that. Using the code Second Shot gives you $10 off, by the way, or a month off or something like that. Anyway, JennyAndChando.com. Please let me know if you are digging the Second Shot sit downs. There's still some room to pivot with these too, so the more feedback, the better, so I can just cater them toward you and make them really valuable as we soar into 2020.
And we're just going to do an 8-week series
it's
on
only
them
for
at
8
first
weeks.
in order to figure out what to do if we want to keep moving forward with it or not. So let us know.
Yeah, at Apple Zackintosh on Twitter and Instagram. Leave a rating and review for Second Shot, and then one for Second Shot sit downs too, if you can swing it. Right? I guess it's all the same, but why not? Just do it regardless. Make it happen.
You can find me, Matt Stoker1, on Instagram, as well as in the Facebook group. I'm posting the videos for this Second Shot, as well as Second Shot sit-downs. It's a lot of fun, but it's extra work. Please, folks, go and like it, and tell us what you think.
At Heath Oaks, at Ignorance on Fire on all the social media platforms. I love you all, and see you next time.